Welcome to St Mary Le Bow. There has been a Christian church on this site since at least 1080, when William the Conqueror's Archbishop Lanfranc built this church as the headquarters of the Archbishop, right in the centre of London. St Mary Le Bow is Norman French and a translation of Beata Maria de Archibus, Latin for St Mary of the Arches, denoting the new Norman architectural style which we see in the arches of the crypt today and which will have been replicated in the church above ground. St Mary Le Bow was an important symbol on London's main street, Cheapside, cheap meaning market. And indeed, there was a stand from which the royal family would watch jousting up and down Cheapside. Some say that when Sir Christopher Wren rebuilt the church after the Great Fire, he included a balcony on his great tower as a complement to that royal stand. In the Middle Ages, St Mary Le Bow was a model of Catholic devotion. But at the Reformation, it was perhaps one of the most radical parishes in London, and much ornament and a great musical tradition was destroyed. But because of the association with the Archbishop of Canterbury, it was here that, under Queen Mary Tudor, England was once again and briefly restored as a Roman Catholic country. Famously, St Mary Le Bow also had a defining tower, which was both a landmark for ships navigating along the Thames and also contained the principal curfew bell, Bow Bell, which when rung at night determined the end of the apprentice's day, and the reach of that sound was said to determine who was a true Londoner or Cockney. The church was almost wholly destroyed in the Great Fire of 1666, after which Sir Christopher Wren was appointed to build his most elaborate church scheme after St Paul's Cathedral, of which the tower and its classical entrances are perhaps the crowning glory. Once again, the church was destroyed in aerial bombardment in 1941 and only restored by Lawrence King in 1964. At the time of the reconstruction, the ancient device of two ambos or pulpits was introduced, with the additional purpose of promoting an equal dialogue between the church and the world. We continue to work in that tradition today, seeking to bring Christian wisdom to bear on the financial, commercial, and associated industries clustered around us in the city today. But as the custodian of the most famous ring of bells, we naturally have a worldwide reputation.
I'm Simon Meyer, the steeplekeeper of St Mary Le Bow, a position I've held for nearly 10 years. As custodians of the most famous ring of bells in the world, St Mary Le Bow enjoys a wide reputation amongst ringers and non-ringers alike. Many will recall that the Great Bell of Bow features at the end of the Oranges and Lemons nursery rhyme, and a recording of the bells was broadcast by the BBC to the occupied territories as a sign of hope during the war. It's a great privilege to be the steeplekeeper of St Mary Le Bow. It's a very special place, a very interesting tower. To organise ringing for all the magnificent events that we have is a tremendous privilege. It's also quite something to maintain these bells, to get up there with a spanner at times and look after them and tend them so that they're there not just for us at the moment, but for many, many future generations.
Situated as we are halfway between St Paul's Cathedral and the Bank of England, St Mary Le Bow has an ideal space for debating issues about the relationship between ethics and economics. And that's exactly what Just Share seeks to do. Just Share is a coalition of churches and charities which has its home here in St Mary Le Bow and organises a regular programme of debates, lectures and seminars on issues such as: are chief executives paid too much? Can capitalism deliver a living wage for all? Is the city socially useful? Does commodity trading harm developing economies? Issues which have a real bearing on the life of the city outside, but also have a definite ethical dimension. And it's not just a talking shop. Just Share also seeks to promote opportunities for city people to get involved and make a difference. So, for example, our fair trade wine tastings encourage firms to serve fair trade refreshments at their corporate events. And we recently launched Arquebus, our ethical microfinance fund. Arquebus takes its name from the arches of this church, Sancta Maria de Arquebus, and that symbolises the partnerships or the relationships we're trying to create between the city, the church, and entrepreneurs working in some of the poorest parts of the world. It's all about trying to create connections between one of the richest square miles in the world and some of the poorest communities in the world, and moving towards a more just share of the world's resources for all.